Alright, back at the home base. Let's go see what kind of trouble we can get into.
Well, woof to you too. Ruff, ruff.
I love my dog. Alright, now Anders has a favor he needs to carry on the little drama he's playing out in his head. And got some companions to go talk to and stuff. Things to do. Also have an issue to deal with out at the bone pit. Apparently, well, everyone there is dead. Go figure. I mean, that place has been nothing but a den of problems from the start, so that kind of had to end badly also, right?
Have you located any Canary blades?
This is what I found.
If you find more, bring them to me.
Wow, look at the XP for that. I mean, how many little side quests would you have to do to get that much? That's pretty extensive. Now, considering the amount that you need to level, though, now, I guess it's really not a whole lot.
You're here. Good. I wanted to talk to you. Don't you have a funeral to attend? What? You mean Castillon's? I hope the cleansing blaze of the funeral pyres rejects his vile, sagging arse. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. Saves me the trouble of having to go look for you. I wanted to thank you for everything you've done for me. I'm glad you walked in here all those years ago.
You've been a good friend, and a constant source of excitement.
Oh, you do know how to flatter a girl. It's funny. Now that I think about it, getting a ship just doesn't seem that important. I just hate to have to say goodbye. You're the best friend I've had in a very long time. A toast to friendship and to us.
You know, for someone who puts all of their wants before everyone else's needs, like her desire to have a bauble over someone else's need to live, you know, type of thing, she's still not so bad. Still really not clear on a lot of her history and her background. She is a bit of an enigma in this game. Apparently she has a pretty colorful past, from what little I've gathered, but it'd be nice to get to know more on that regard.
I'm going to be trying something, and I thought you'd want to be part of it.
Well, that doesn't look shifty at all, does it?
I've been wrong. What I did with Justice was unnatural. It should never have happened.
So you condemn yourself with your own words there.
I'm glad you finally understand that.
I can't help mages like this. Not while I am everything the Templars fear about magic.
Okay, so you admit it.
I need to be free of this curse.
Okay. So he sets a foundation of truth here.
What must we do?
I've spent the past 3 years researching the methods of Tevinter Magisters. They're the only ones who have ever sought to reverse spirit possession, not just behead the victims. I believe I have a formula for a potion that can separate Justice and me, without killing either.
Is it dangerous?
There are always dangers with magic. But I believe this will be worth the cost.
Surely that's worth any risk it entails.
I knew you'd stand behind me in this. Even if...
Even if what?
What?
Nothing. I've gathered most of what I need, but there are some outlandish ingredients I was hoping you'd help me collect. A powder the Tevinters call Celepetre, and a small amount of Drakestone.
Where would we find Celepetre?
It's a crystal that forms from concentrated manure and urine.
Ew. We can't just buy it somewhere.
It's not used by mages here. There's no reason for any merchant to stock it. I suggest we search the sewers. There's an entrance not far from here in Darktown.
What is Drakestone?
The Tevinters used to mine it for their apothecaries. there should still be deposits in the bone pit.
Is it just a potion? Is there anything more to this ritual?
No ritual. Just mix the ingredients up and boom. Justice and I are free. And we can take our rightful place among free mages.
We're not looking for virgin's blood or the tongue of a hanged man or anything, are we?
Well, you know Tevinters. They can't throw a Wintersend party without a human sacrifice or two. But I promise, everything in my research says there's no blood magic involved.
Okay, I'm going to point out that A, if you look at Anders' skill tree, you realize he is a blood mage. B, we know he's possessed, alright? And C, he just smiled at us and lied straight through his teeth about all that. That was all a complete, absolute fabrication, and the only truth in it was his admission of guilt in his nature as being an absolute, complete abomination piece of shit. That's the only truth in anything he said there.
Are you the ones who sent the note about the gem of Kuroshek?
We were beginning to think you wouldn't show. It's rude to keep people waiting, you know? It's not like I don't got things to do.
You're wasting my time.
See, we was hired to give you a note. But this gem of Kuroshek thing the note talks about, we decided we want that instead. You better hand it over.
I'm surprised you know what a note is, let alone know how to read one.
I don't need to know how to read. All I need to know is which end of the sword goes where. We aren't going anywhere without that gem.
Yeah, how about you're just not going anywhere? Alright, let me show you where the pointy end goes. I think this lesson's going to stick with you for a lifetime, at least the rest of your lifetime. As in about the next 3 or 4 seconds. And there you go. That proves that there actually is a cure for stupid. And that was it right there. No other way to deal with that mess. Anyway, so Anders will point out Meryl dealing with a demon while he's possessed by one. Anders will condemn her for blood magic when he's a blood mage. Okay, so everything he does is a double standard. Every word that comes out of his mouth is a condemnation of himself. It's amazing the way these writers here, I mean, you got to give it to the BioWare writers, how they peppered a little bit of every kind of abomination.
We can enter the sewers from here to look for the cellar Petray. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Hold your nose. We'll have to get pretty close for me to tell what we're looking at.
You take the psychological profile of a serial killer, a child predator, rapist, just your mass murder in general, psychopath, you know.
I know it isn't my place to criticize, but are you sure about Meryl? She acts sweet, but she'll never pick you over her demon.
Pure hypocrisy here.
Meryl loves me.
What right do you have to question us? Is your justice any different?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Keep your illusions, then. Maker knows I won't be the one to change them.
The difference is, Justice is a demon that he embraced and allowed to live within himself, right? Willingly, knowingly. And then play it off like he didn't know. And then he just admitted that he actually does know, okay? Which he's always known, right? And he's going to play it off like he didn't. Then he put it behind a smile and a sweet voice and his furry little shoulders and his, demeanor. And he's an absolute abomination. He is a devil walking. I mean, wow. You know, anyway, it's amazing how the BioWare writers have basically taken the psychological profile of just about any kind of monster that can dwell in human skin. And they peppered a bit of that and wrapped it all up in Anders.
The cellar Petray should have formed right under here. Oh, I don't want to touch that.
And it's no coincidence that in order to quote-unquote... Shut up, Anders. Just shut up. To quote-unquote help Anders, heavy quotes there, help Anders, he drags you through the sewer in the bone pit to do it. It's no coincidence there. That's where you're taken to, like I say, quote-unquote, help him here. And it's all a complete lie. Like I said, what you're getting this for has nothing to do with him and justice. He's embraced justice completely. He's totally down with it. He is what he is, and so he's completely deceiving you and using any little bit of trust you might have. And I don't, I of course don't trust him at all. Zero. Like negative 1%, negative 100% trust for this piece of crap. And for all the right reasons. But your character's kind of forced into a dialogue where you play the naive housewife who goes down to the schoolyard and sees a guy passing out candy to the children from the back of his windowless van, and you're going to pretend like you don't know what's going on, right? So I have to play that persona, as my character here. All my dialogue options are, oh, Anders, what do you mean? Oh, I'm just trying to understand you, to allow him to play this out so that you can actually see the depravity of the human condition. I mean, it's he is the epitome of all that can possibly be bad with a person, all wrapped up into one. All behind a smiling face. I mean, that lie he just told you was actually almost convincing. Because of the smile and little bit of humor that he peppered in there and all the other things that he's used, his survival skills that he's developed to have not been killed for the abomination that he is a long time ago. From some parent who's mad that their child got molested, or from some woman who was upset that she got raped, at least by conversation, or by someone who was just murdered as a result of, him fueling his magical abilities and whatever. Because like I say, he is a blood mage. Look at his skill tree. It's right there. It's a blood mage. He can sacrifice his own blood for his magical power. It's there, right? So he is one. So anything he ever says against blood magic in general, which he tends to defend it. When it comes down to it, he'll defend a blood mage. He'll see a blood mage in the act of committing an abomination, like we saw in the caves, when we, quote-unquote, help Sir Thrask. And Grace, when you help Grace, we'll pay for that. We'll pay a heavy price for that later. Any kindness done to a mage, you will pay for it. With your life and probably the lives of many others. That's always the price that's paid. But, when you're there, you go in there and he sees these blood mages in the act of committing abominations and raising the undead, and he's like, oh, what measures must they have suffered in order to resort to these actions? Dude, are you serious? He can't possibly look at his own mouth and believe the words that come out of it. It's not possible. And still be human. And he's not. He's not human in any way, shape, or form. He's a monster. Animals actually don't share the condition that he has. But, if it sounds like I'm hating, I'm really just stating it like it is. I'm not even exaggerating here. It just is what it is. And they've painted this picture, and it's up to you to either see it or completely ignore it. And once again, I think that's the beauty of their writing, is that in a society that we live in today, where when you see a monster, you either deal with it, right, or just ignore it. Ignore that elephant in the middle of the room and pretend that it doesn't exist. Or you deal with it, but dealing with it means to acknowledge that it's there and realize that there are drastic measures that need to be taken. Of course, the authorities will step in and find a nice place to feed and nurture that monster so that they can release it later to commit even worse atrocities and charge the taxpayers to send it back through the court system and keep it locked up again at the expense of, 10 times more than it actually costs to take care of it each day. That's a pretty nice little scam that the prison system has going on there. Charge you $100 for something that only costs $5. Keep the other $95 a day and convince the taxpayers that they're quote-unquote safe while that monster's locked away. Of course, you still can't walk out your front door. All you see on the evening news is atrocity after atrocity being committed daily. So it's obvious that the quote-unquote justice system supports this, doesn't prevent it in any way, shape, or form. But we'll all live under the facade that this elephant isn't in the middle of the room.
Let's see if we can find a few more deposits.
There is no fix for it, because the only people you can go to fix it now are the people doing it.
That should do.
But it is what it is anyway. Like I say, not exaggerating, just pointing it out, just stating it as it is.
That should be plenty. Thank the maker.
Due to this right here, anyone who's played this and has gone through this scene and has bothered to look with open eyes, without rose-colored glasses, to look with any kind of clarity at exactly what Anders is. Oh wow, you hear that thunder in the background? Well, we got a heck of a storm brewing up outside. I hope it doesn't cut me off in the middle of editing this. But if you look at him with any clarity, the truth, the monstrosity of his nature, not just what he does, but what he is. When it becomes clear, it's like, holy crap, because then you have to acknowledge that there's maybe people like that in your life, that there may be people like that just around the corner, living next door, the clerk down there at the local store, whatever. People who are capable of monstrosities, given the opportunity, time, and place for it. But we'll cover it up with a sweet smile and a little bit of humor.
Are you ready to go in?
It's
Ready
creepy.
as I'll ever be.
We'll have to look for Drakestone deposits along the sides.
Anyway, so he's already drug us through the shit and the piss, and now he's going to drug us through the bone pit. And like I say, no coincidence where you have to go to find the things that it needs to make its little concoction for a purpose completely opposite of what he claims it to be for, and it's just the depravity and the deception here. If you've ever been betrayed by a friend or a loved one or a confidant or something, or business partner, and all that is really wrapped up into one here. And then he would like you to be complicit in it also, so that you're partially guilty, so that you can't say later, I didn't know. You didn't know because he lied to you, but then he'll say that really you knew later, and then he can throw it back on you and make you guilty. In other words, drag you down into the shit with him, which he's doing in order to make his concoction. And it's just, I think it's an analogy there. But it sounds like I'm harping on him. It's no more than he deserves that he's got coming.
This
I mean,
looks like a Drakestone deposit. I need a scraping from the deepest part. There
just
should be more further in.
stating the obvious. So we'll play naive and stupid, and we'll scrape the sewers for this guy to make this thing that he needs to, quote unquote, help himself. Kind of obvious. This isn't going to lead to any good thing. A blood mage wanting urine and feces, and this Drakestone. I'm not sure exactly what's the nature of this stuff. Drakestone, by the name, I would assume is just an element. I think it's a fire-based element you use in crafting in Inquisition, so I don't know exactly how that all plays into the whole demonic concoction thing. Maybe having a fire or explosive property or something like that. I think it can be said fairly that Anders is the sum of what's wrong with both sides. Not just mages or Templars, but just people. The worst of human nature is wrapped up in this one dude. And I think that's kind of why he's brought forth as this type of character, to give us that. To put a face on it, I guess you could say. I mean, when you think about all the principles of, good on one side, evil on the other, whatever, it's much easier to grasp it if you put a face on it and you portray it in a certain way to show you just how deceptive it is in nature. And just, it's like, how can people do that? There's got to be some logic, and there really isn't really any logic in it, but there's got to be some reason or something that people could even lean that way. Like, how do you get to that point? Well, you could start off as a monster from the beginning, okay? And then, then it's easy. And there are people like that. Oh, that's not true. No, yeah, it is. There are assholes in this world, and not accepting that doesn't make it less true. There are just assholes, and the only way you can deal with them is with a sword or a gun. They can't be reasoned with. They're the monsters. Anders would be a perfect example of that. He can hide his behind this facade of nicety, rather than hiding it behind a mask of violence and hatred like a lot of the other blood mages do. But regardless of how you dress it up, it's still crap. Whether you coat a dog turd in sugar or spices, it doesn't matter. It's still dog crap, And so that's what you have here. He just plays along as your friend and uses you all along as as a vessel to further his crimes. You know, he's really used the champion as cover. Varric has been making his bond this entire time, keeping the coterie off of him, keeping the Templars away from him, and so on and so forth. Varric has worked effortlessly. It must be really, really hard for Varric to swallow just how deeply this piece of crap betrays, you know, your quote-unquote friendship. There's no friendship as far as I'm concerned, but with Varric that would be the case. Trying to overlook the reality of it, because the reality is so monstrous, it's so bad, that it almost makes you feel dirty for ever having accepted it in the first place. I think that's the case with Anders. And how as a society do you deal with that? That is a portrayal of your society as a whole, that you could produce something like that. And it is hard for people to grasp. It'd be like a woman married to a man for years, and then finding out that he's, you know, molesting kids, or that he's a serial killer, or that, you know, he's any kind of monster, whatever, that he's been embezzling from his job, you know, all along, and stealing her inheritance and her fortune, say, you know, behind the scenes through lawyers and legal tricks and things. You know, I mean, stuff like that, all the things that people could be capable of behind the scenes, and they could be the ones that you trust the most, you know. Keep your friends close, keep your enemies even closer type of thing. That whole... Anyway, it's just, it's all just kind of brought to a head here. It's wow. I mean, got to give the writers kudos for that, for just an amazing job in giving all of this, like I say, a face, giving it all, you know, something that you can grasp and you can look at and you can say, wow. It's much easier when you actually have a name to hate, rather than just, you know, these loose principles of this is right and this is wrong type thing. He is all that is wrong, kind of summed up into one.
Watch your step. Done.
All right, these traps are worth a good little bit of points, each one. The spiders seem to be the common theme with this particular cave here.
There should be more further in.
I wonder if Drakestone is petrified dragon droppings or something. just curious.
That. Do it.
Oh, these are spiders, not dragons. Although I might prefer dragons over spiders, to be honest. Not a big spider fan. Except for there's one spider in my house. I think it's the same little dude. He's just... I'm not a fan of spiders at all. But this one little dude, I think he hangs out somewhere by the window over my sink. And then he pops up in my sink when I'm not around. But sometimes I'll walk in and I'll catch him in the sink. I guess... I don't know what he's looking for. I never see, like, any bugs and stuff. But that may be because of him, you know? And so I'm like, all right, little dude. He never bothers me. So I try not to bother him. So if I need to wash something in the sink or something, I'll use the other side. Let him have that side of the sink while he's looking for, I don't know, some maybe microscopic little gnats or something. Who knows? I don't know what he's after. But he's a little tiny guy. I swear, I don't know what their lifespan is, but he seems to have been around for a while. This is just recently. I haven't named him yet, but or her. It might be a her. I don't know. Anyway, just little spider. Doing their thing, minding their own business, and like I say, as long as this one in particular doesn't bother me. Now, if I caught him randomly on my headboard, you know, in the morning or something, yeah, that might be different. I probably wouldn't be able to deal with that.
That should be enough.
Okay, so he's got a Tevinter recipe, and he is a blood mage, possessed by a demon. How could this go wrong? I mean, I'm just saying. You know, and we're not supposed to... I think, unless you look, you're not supposed to see any of that and put 1 + 1 + 1 together, you know, to make 3. So, yeah, but that is the case here. And please, if in your own head you're trying to find some way to justify or remedy Anders' condition or find an excuse for it or say that he's just misunderstood or this and that, please stop to question yourself for just a second as to what lengths you'll go to excuse a monster. Just stop and think about it. I mean, at some point, to not accept the reality of what he is, not just what he's done up to this point, what he's doing as we speak, and what he's about to do, which there can't be an excuse for in no way, shape, or form. But yeah, just stop to look at that and say, you know, why? I think it may reveal a pattern of thinking that might be a little disturbing, actually. Might lead one to question other things, and that would be good. Any kind of truth should do that. Lead one to question, you know, the principles behind which a particular lie is based, and you know, learn from that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and fight the High Dragon while I'm down here. This will grab a one last ingredient we need that the guy in the gallows is looking for. I think it's kind of like an unmarked quest type of deal. I believe we get an item for it. Also, I believe it counts as a crafting item for the highest tier rune and potions or something like that. Maybe it's a potion. It's seems like there's a potion where everybody gets a level, but regardless of your level, it gives you enough XP to get another level. Like it's really good to use once you've reached what you believe is probably your last level of the game, right before you go to fight the last battle, and you can get a quick extra point for everybody from that. It's pretty cool. So I think that's what it's good. I mean, you may be able to use it for runes also. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But anyway, now this is also the only way that I know of to get the champion set of armor itself. Which, in my opinion, my absolute favorite is the warrior champion armor. I'm not a big fan of the rogue set. Actually, there's better armor. You can mix and match some different rogue equipment to get a better set than what the champion set will give you. Although, it does give you nice critical chance damage bonuses. And as a set, I think it gives you like extra stamina and something extra attack. I don't remember. Anyway, once you collect the whole set, you get another bit to it. And I'm trying to think where all the pieces are. Let's see. I think we already got the gloves first. I forget where we got those, but the champion set comes here. I think the helmet comes from dealing with Grace and Sir Thrask later, and the boots. I don't remember. I really don't remember. I know it's as you do various quests, and they're all pretty difficult. Like this is hard. This is one of the harder fights in the game. Notice I'm over here, kind of at the dead end of this little valley down here. This pretty much keeps you from getting busted in the face every 2 seconds by a fireball from Mama Dragon up there while she sits up on her perch, and also allows you to kind of funnel all the baby dragons to yourself. Of course, want them to be on your tank while Anders can keep Aveline on her feet, and we can run around and kind of weed out some of the extras here. But as long as your mages are alive, you're pretty good here. As soon as your mages go down, usually this fight goes south really fast. Actually, we'll see that because I make a kind of an impatient mistake here towards the end of this fight. Luckily, it's after the last waves of dragons. So what they'll do is first we have like this 5 million dragonlings here, right? Then in the second wave, we'll get a mature dragon, which I guess is a male dragon. And we'll get a bunch more dragonlings, and then in the last one we get, I think, 2 mature dragons and like double the number of dragonlings. And all the while she's up there and she's trying to, you know, snipe you with fireballs and do all that BS. So yeah, this thing can be pretty nasty. This is the best spot I found to do this fight, down here at the end, because she essentially, it's much harder for her to hit you with fireballs. And like I say, you can keep the dragons pretty much in little baby dragons all in one area. She can still hit you with a fire, believe it or not, if you're close enough. But as long as she's targeted, your mages will at least do some work on her. And it's much harder for her to hit you, like I say, with the fireballs. So, yeah. Trying to just run around like an idiot. I usually wind up getting party wiped pretty quick. Trying to just run around the middle and avoid her fireballs is pretty hard to do. Okay, and she'll usually bounce back and forth between one spot and another. Take a few hits, jump up, disappear, land. Probably try to take out a party member while she's at it. Giving Aveline some fire resistance is definitely a plus here. So you might want to keep an eye on her friggin' timing here, because I do a horrible job of timing it, but there's a way to basically avoid the wing attacks and stay to the side of her when she's breathing fire, and know that you'll have a few seconds to get in a few shots in between. But it's wise to get out of the way. I do a horrible job of it. Alright, so we'll get a few more of these, and now we get a mature dragon. Like I say, on the next wave after this, we'll get 2. Plus a lot of babies. So she has no shortage of family, I guess, that she brought with her here. And I guess our workers fed her and her babies for the day. I guess that's what that boils down to. And you really want to keep the whole party down at the end, which I'm not doing right here. Getting everybody down here is really actually kind of not wise. Especially on the next wave. Especially. Definitely keep an eye on the mages too. Keeping them on their feet is a must. You run out of health potions. Cool thing is these baby dragons can actually drop them. See those little random loot piles down there? And there's enough of them to where you'll probably get a few of these little stashes here. So. Anyway, we'll see an example here shortly of what not to do. Like this pattern, you can get through this fight pretty much scot-free. Might not even suffer a knockout necessarily if everything's built right. But you'll see I kind of get impatient, try to head towards the middle. Mages follow along. One of my mages gets insta-wiped, and then it just goes straight to crap from there. Yeah, that's all it takes. She can't really do anything to us right here. And it's fair, because she's up there in her cheap-ass little perch trying to snipe, so we'll sit down here and snipe her right back. Okay, now, like I say, if I had if I was a little more in tune with her attack pattern, I guess you could say. How long I have and what to avoid. And it's her wing flap that really gets you, and that screech she does, that can get you too. Alright, so this should be the last wave. The only reason she disappeared right there is I think at a certain health point, regardless of what she's doing, she's gonna wind up back on her perch. Thing is, we're doing some pretty decent damage to her, so it kind of shortened that little phase of this fight, I guess you could say. But here we'll get, I believe, two of these mature dragons. And I really don't need this dragon over here messing with my mages. I really don't. This is not good. Breathing fire all in the face. Yeah, not cool. Alright, but Aveline doing her job, at least for the moment. Mages rely on Aveline, Aveline relies on the mages. There's a synergy there, there's a give and take. She keeps the heat off the mages, mages keep her on her feet. And you're good. When one or the other goes down, the one that's left is pretty sure to follow pretty quickly after that. It's usually how it goes. Even though Aveline's just tanky as all get out right now, she can, certain enemies can take her down pretty fast. High dragons are a good example of that, right?
Need to get closer.
Alright, let's see if we can get any more free shots on her. I don't think so. I think we've got a spawn down here. I don't think you can even target her at the moment. Yeah, there's the other adult and the rest of the babies. Like I say, just if we were just down there running in the middle, you just get ganged up on, like, really fast. And my mages aren't moving. And watch. Okay, so I try to switch and get one-shotted. Keep the mages down at the end, and that's not a problem, right? So now that the healer's down, everyone else is sure to follow pretty shortly after that, right? That's usually how it goes. Good thing is, if we can get rid of these mobs, this is the last wave of adds. Additional enemies. Additional damage dealers, I believe, what that stands for. But, if we can get these down, honestly, you could solo the dragon with, well, probably not my rogue, because I can't really afford to take a hit from Mama Dragon up there, but, Aveline is actually, with a few health potions, capable of probably soloing the dragon after this point. Definitely a mage, because the dragon will stay ranged and your mage can stay ranged also. As much damage done as we possibly can. I know this is kind of long and drawn out, but hey, that's this fight. They were not kidding with this particular dragon. It is designed to test your build. Yeah, I can't really take the wing flaps, and I can't take her screeching, and I certainly can't take the kick to the face either, so it's really good to get in there, hit and run, basically. Not cool. And my potion's still on cooldown. I could probably just chill back here for a little bit until my potion cools down again. But no, I'm going to get impatient. Again. Honestly, if Anders was still up, I could just run in, hit a couple times, and leave. Run in, hit a Twin Fangs, leave. Run in, hit an Assassinate, and get screamed to death. Oh well. Alright. And honestly, from this point forth, even without Aveline, I could solo the rest of this. When you have a mage, or an archer, either way. You stay far enough away, and she will stick to fireballs. And so you can essentially just snipe each other, which is basically all that's going on here. And be careful, because that last attack with your staff takes a long time. Certain spells take a long time to gear up, too. I'm fixing to learn that lesson here in a second. Let's see what I've got to choose from. Let's try Petrify and see if I can get her, Or I can just take a fireball to the face. Okay, won't try that again. Honestly, basic staff attacks will finish this off. And I actually edited out a bit of this because it takes a while. Even though it looks like she's almost out of health, that's still a lot of hit points. It really is. Like, a lot of hit points. I don't know what she starts with. It's probably in the million-something range, I'm guessing. And there we go. Alright, not a lot of XP for one of the tougher fights in the game, strangely enough. But here we'll get Dragon's Blood, get our champion set, and some other goodies. Probably the single best loot drop in the game, really, if you think about it. Considering the quality of stuff you get, money, and just everything, all the good stuff. Alright, so that's the High Dragon. Got the High Dragon out of the way. Could have been a lot cleaner than that. Got impatient, ran up in there, my mages followed, Anders gets one-shotted, and fight's almost over. You know, that's really all it takes. Like I say, the tank really needs to be doing her job so that the mages can do their job, so the DPS can do their job, and it's really a beautiful synergy they have going on with the combat here. It's, I mean, that kind of speaks for itself as why this is my favorite of the series. They put so much thought into it, the mechanics, even when they're a little clunky. Oh, speaking of that, this copy I have right here, with all that said, there's a lot of things that really weren't working right. And when I went to play my warrior, which I'm streaming right now, it really came to a head. There were some things that are just flat out broken. Some of the AI, party members just freezing, going zombie, you know, doing nothing for no reason, you know, just standing there in the middle of a fight, you know, this type of stuff, not casting their spells, not
A
healing.
dragon attacked your mine. Everyone is dead.
Dear Maker, what of my equipment? Did it seem salvageable?
Oh, wow. Are you serious, dude? Is that how our legions go?
Unfortunately, your precious equipment didn't make it. And neither did your workers.
Oh, my heart. So many years of investment. I am ruined. Ruined. I'm sorry, champion. I appreciate your help, but I sank all my coin into that rotten mine. I have nothing left to pay you.
I'm actually kind of not believing that. I think you're going to cut your losses and run, is what I think. You probably have plenty of money.
I slew the dragon to protect the city. I need no coin from you.
Jim bloody dog lord.
There you go. And then people expose themselves. He's just been wrong all along. A lot of people lost their lives because of this dude. His greed. It's same old story. Same old story. Yeah, but anyway, the copy that I'm playing off of right here, is the digital copy, you know, the, through PSN, and it's bad. It's actually bad. It can't be updated. They say it is the fully updated form, but they call it version 1.01, and that's kind of what it plays like, is the pre-patch version of the game. They're all the way up to, patch 105. Anyway, long story short, finally, I got to a point in the game where I couldn't even play anymore. There was some things I had to activate to continue on a fight, the Criphius fight, actually. And I couldn't activate the pillars. Just things were just broken after broken after broken. And I was like, you know, got to look into this. And I Googled it and I realized I wasn't the only one having these problems. I wasn't imagining any of it. It actually was a problem with the digital version. And so now I went and bought a hard copy of it so that I could stream. You know, I wanted a good quality playthrough. I wanted a two-handed warrior build that we could be proud of and stuff. I'd like to share that with you guys too. I'd like to get to that point with a game that, well, a copy that actually works. You know, I don't think I'm asking too much there.
I took this fire gland from a high dragon just outside the city.
You killed a high dragon? Incredible. Let me see the fire gland.
It was either her life or mine. I chose mine.
And that I am glad to hear. This fire gland is a remarkable specimen. Wait here. I know exactly what I can craft from this.
No, this dude's actually pretty cool. He really is. Now this is a mage.
This turned out beautifully. Something worthy of our champion. I hope you can put it to good use.
This dude's just a guy who happens to have magic. It's alright. That's a mage, in my opinion. Not like these bloodthirsty idiots running around killing everybody in the name of a cause. Of course, Templars aren't suffering. It's just everyone else that's dying for it.
So good to see.
Go figure. Anyway, so I got this hard copy, and it seems to be working just fine so far. Haven't noticed any real problems, although my dog still seems to freeze up here and there. I wonder if that's always been an issue, and I just never noticed. I don't know. But doing some other stuff. Plus, take a closer look at Anders' tactics, where we'll be applying vengeance as well as panacea, and stuff. That's something I really didn't too much cover in this one, but it'll come out in that. But I'll share that build with you guys. It's a really brutal, effective build. A lot of speed, a lot of just major hardcore ass-kicking of mobs going on there. Okay, so everything I said about Anders, if you still doubted any part of it, I can't really see, because it seems to be pretty obvious to me, but you know, what I think is common sense may not be. But we'll see here that it really is true what I'm saying, and he really is just as bad as I've been saying. Well, you'll see right here.
There is one more thing I would ask of you, Hawk. And I can't tell you why. I must get inside the Chantry without being seen. Will you talk to the Grand Cleric for me? Distract her long enough for me to do what must be done.
What do you want me to talk about?
Food? The weather? What does it matter? No, talk of mages. Give her one final chance to hear what we have suffered. To pick a side. Perhaps she'll be more inclined to listen to you.
Tell me your plan.
You would not thank me if I told you. If you support freedom for mages, help me. That's all I can say.
What is it you don't want me to see?
You said you believe in me. Again and again you have shown your support for mages. Then trust me now. I am doing only what is necessary.
Was this ever about you and justice? Or have you lied this whole time?
I lied. There is no potion. But what we have gathered will bring freedom for more than just me and justice. It will help mages throughout Phaedus. In the face of that, one lie means little.
I can't act blindly. Tell me your plan.
I am taking a risk. I would not see you drawn into it. But maybe your support of mages ends at talk.
Look at this.
It's easier to support freedom if no one must die to achieve it.
You're just
You
a
cannot
murderer.
pretend friendship, then stop now.
That's unfair. I will not be blackmailed into aiding some mad scheme. You're on your own.
I have always been on my own. For a time, I just forgot.
The evil behind Corypheus, that evil's agenda would be to divide the world and conquer it before you even have to lift a finger to come in and destroy it so that you can take over. And, well, that's all Anders is doing. He doesn't have any cause. He's an absolute monster. You'll see. If you don't already see, you will. Alright, if you want to subscribe, click that button up top. And for the rest of this Let's Play up to this point, click that image there in the middle. And I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.